Alright, for today's video, I'm going to be doing one of my the only one, requested video, which is a how to make your high school's cheer team video. So today I'm going to be telling you guys some advice, tips, and what to expect in my experience of trying out for high school cheer. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So I've been on the high school cheer team for 3 years. I did it my freshman year, my sophomore year. I didn't do it my junior year for health issues, and I came back my senior year. Throughout the 3 years that I've tried out for the cheer team, they've all been very similar, just not as nerve-wracking, you could say. So I made a list on my phone just so I remember everything that I need to say. So I'm going to explain the process of tryouts, how it typically should go. I know at my high school they did this. Basically, you go through a 3-day tryout process. 2 days you learn a dance and a cheer, and you learn it within those 2 days, and of course you do like some stunting and not necessarily tumbling, but you just you know, they're gonna judge you on how you like stunt and what you're gonna practice, what you're gonna tumble for the day of the actual tryouts. 3rd day is the actual tryout, so you normally try out in a group, which is so much better than trying out by yourself. It's a lot less nerve-wracking, I can tell you that. So it'd be me and 2 other girls, and one by one we each took turns doing our favorite jump, being a toe touch, a hurdler, or a pike. I would always suggest to do a toe touch and a hurdler just because they are the more easier jumps compared to having a super nice high pike. So definitely do a toe touch. I recommend toe touch and a hurdler. Those are my 2 personal favorites, either left or right for the hurdler. I always did those. Anyways, after you show or demonstrate your 2 jumps, you're gonna go ahead and show them if you have any tumbling. I remember my first year when I was a freshman trying out, they asked if I had any tumbling, and I said no, and then they moved along. And then the last couple years they just said if you have something, throw it. So the 2 other girls threw their tumbling. I never tumbled. The most I have is a back walkover. So I never did any tumbling throughout my years of high school cheer, which I know could be different for different high schools depending on what the requirements are. My high school didn't require any skill, so most high schools shouldn't. So you don't need to feel like you need to go start taking all these tumbling classes, because as long as you have a positive attitude, that's what they're gonna look for. And then after you go ahead and do the tumbling and the jumps, they're gonna go ahead and play the music for the dance. This was probably the most hardest part, is memorizing a 2-minute and 30-second choreography dance routine within 2 days. So yeah, you're gonna go ahead and perform that, and then as well as the cheer. That's how my tryouts went. I'm sure it's going to be different throughout many high schools, but just kind of giving you a mindset of what to prepare yourself for just in case. The best advice that I could give to you is don't stress, and it's honestly just 5 minutes of your life in front of all these judges, and if you really want it, you're gonna do it, and you just need to manifest that you'll be perfectly fine. If you stress and panic, it's gonna show on your face, which is gonna show your nerves, and then you're gonna end up forgetting a piece of the dance or a part of the cheer. You say the words wrong. So just relax. And I kind of like to, before I go on, I just like to pinch myself and just be like, okay, like take some deep breaths. The next thing is to be confident. In order to stand out against all the other girls, you need to shine inside and out, of course. Most importantly on the inside, so make sure you're super friendly to everyone, you're super confident within your smile. You know, don't feel like you need to have all this makeup on for the tryouts, because less is always more. And just have this big smile, because if you're smiling all the time, they're gonna notice that, and they're gonna spot you compared to all the other girls. So whenever you're doing the cheer, you're gonna have to practice talking and smiling, or like singing, because when you do the cheers, but when you sing, when you're saying the cheer, make sure you're still smiling. I know you can kind of lose focus when you're doing the dance. Just always remember to smile, smile, smile. As long as you smile, you're solid. My biggest tip out of all the tips, if you forget a piece of the cheer, a part in the dance routine, don't stop. Don't just freeze, keep going. So this has happened the last 2 tryouts I've tried. So my freshman year, I remembered it surprisingly, but my sophomore year and then just my senior year tryout, I forgot everything. I literally just, my mind went blank, and I'm not sure why I was so nervous after already doing it. I forgot. So instead of just freezing and just standing there where it's noticeable that you forgot, make your own moves. I always just do my own choreography. Just have your own moves ready and prepared just in case you do forget. And don't stop. Just don't stop. That's literally the worst thing you could do. That could ruin a tryout. So you could make the team for making up your own moves. If you mess up a little bit, just keep going, act like nothing, keep smiling, and no one will notice. The next thing I'm going to talk about is what to expect. Be ready to be a team player. And by team player, I mean stunts. My freshman year, I was a bass, and I love that. I was so happy. I was so comfy being a side bass. I loved it. I grew lots of muscle in my arms, and I felt like I was the strongest in that position. My sophomore year, I was a flyer. So keep in mind, you're going to be cheering and stunting and tumbling with all these girls in high school who are the same height, the same weight, and same age as you. Freshman, junior varsity, and varsity, you're still going to be with girls same height, same age, same weight. So you're basically going to be putting yourself in the air depending on how many girls there are. So it was very difficult for me transitioning into flyer. I was super scared. The last time I was a flyer was when I was 10 years old, when I did all-star cheer. And of course, I was 10 years old and my bases and back spot were 16 and 17. It was perfectly fine. However, they're the same age, my first time flying for high school, and I absolutely did not like it. But I knew I had to take one for the team, and I had to just suck it up and go up there. Had my knees so locked in, and yeah, you just gotta take one for the team. You need to be ready to know that you're going to be jumping around from stunt group to stunt group. Don't get so comfy with a certain stunt group because you might not always have them. They're going to end up switching just if a girl ends up quitting the team or she gets kicked off the team. You'll never know the scenario or the situation, so just be ready for a little like movement going on between stunt groups, because I know it's really easy to get super excited and pumped with the stunt group. You guys are hitting your stunts, it's awesome, but just don't get too comfy because things can happen. And then after flying for sophomore year, like I said, I took a break junior year, came back senior year, and I was a back spot for this season. So I've done every single position all throughout my 3 years of high school cheer. Personally, my 2 favorites were definitely back spotting and side basing. I've done everything, and my stunt group has changed so many times throughout the games, throughout the season. A girl's not there at the game, you're gonna step in for someone else. So, you know, it's hard to get used to one flyer and have such perfect, beautiful stunts hit up in the air, and then having to switch the day of the game. I understand the feeling, but you know, especially at tryouts, be willing to put yourself out there and be like, hey, like I'll try this, you know, put yourself out there, and then the coaches or the judges are gonna see, okay, this girl's willing to, you know, take one for the team, and it's also a great quality to have if you're gonna be a cheerleader. The second thing I want to say is you're going to represent your high school, and you know, you want to represent it in the best way. You're going to be wearing your school's name across your chest for a whole season of football, basketball, and volleyball, just everything. So, you know, you want to be careful what you're posting online on social media, because, you know, you'll never know. Nowadays, it's so easy to just look up someone's name and look through their social media. So especially if your high school, you know, super strict, and being part of the cheer team is a huge responsibility, you know, I would just say make sure that you're careful of what you say at tryouts. You're careful that you don't talk behind anyone's back. You're respectful to all the other girls trying out, and of course the judges and coaches. You want to have a good rep, especially if you're starting out. So that's just my biggest tip. Say if you've never had any cheer experience, by all means do not get discouraged or do not think that you won't make the team, because I have no tumbling experience. I am living proof of making the cheer team without having any really crazy stunt skills, or obviously no tumbling skills. All I can say is the main key things aren't having a back tuck, a back handspring, pointed toes perfectly, toe touch jumps, It's literally all about having a positive attitude, a good heart, and willing to be hardworking. And I guarantee you, when the judges see you, they're gonna know, okay, this girl's ready to be on the team, this girl or guy. Those are all of my best tips and advice that I could give you. I wish you all the best of luck trying out for the cheer team. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week.